Hi, good to see you. Or, I don't know, good to imagine you. YouTube greetings are always kind of weird and awkward to me. I don't know. Peter McKinnon is the guy who's got the best YouTube greeting. Everyone tries to imitate it. No one quite can do it like he does. I'm not even going to try, but find Peter McKinnon out on YouTube and you'll just follow him. He's just a wonderful guy to follow. A great personality. He's just got a great greeting and starts his videos every time kind of the same way. I like that. I'm just going to stick with the good old tried and true, hi, thanks for joining me. I know you could be doing something else with your time. Maybe you, I don't know, should be doing something else with your time, but hey, you're here and I appreciate you. I really like this medium of communicating with you, even though it's a little weird. It's a little weird because it's one way. It's kind of weird because it's delayed. I'm recording this today and you're not going to see it. Even when it drops, it'll be 2 or 3 weeks before you get to see it. You might not see it for a year or two after I record it. So it's delayed. And it's also a little bit weird because a lot of people are going to watch this, I hope. But really, when I'm talking right now, I'm really only just talking to you, to one person when we record it. It's like you're sitting right across from me at this beautiful live edge table and you're sipping away on this Woodinville bourbon with me. That's what it feels like to me, kind of. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I say it all the time, leadership is hard, but it's sometimes harder than it needs to be because of what we do. We make it harder than it needs to be. It's especially hard in the beginning. It's hard to get things going. New ideas and new projects and new cultures and new teams and new results. And it's hard to get that stuff going in the beginning. It's usually a lot harder to get things going than we had expected. Even if we are really experienced, we have forgotten how hard it was to get something started. Usually things take a lot longer than we thought they should take. They cost more money, they're more frustrating. We're surprised every time because after all, isn't this just such a great idea? Shouldn't it just be pulled forward as soon as someone sees it? Well, let me share something with you that I have learned the hard way. Maybe I can help you learn this a little bit faster and a little bit easier than I did. Let's talk about momentum. How to get momentum started and how to keep it going. Much of life is about momentum, isn't it? All the good stuff comes as a result of just keeping going and of the momentum that you build ever so painfully and ever so slowly to accomplish all that good stuff. It's all about momentum. Remember Newton's laws having to do with motion? Remember he talked about momentum as one of those laws of motion? He described momentum when he called this thing called the law of conservation of momentum. He said, in an isolated system, the total momentum of 2 or more bodies acting upon each other will remain constant unless an external force is applied. So right here, through the magic of Drew's editing, you're going to see the graphic that represents this principle behind the leadership flywheel and how momentum is created. First of all, leaders see some part of the future, and as a result of that, they begin to lead. The first thing that a leader does is to create structure. Structure is how we organize our world to get our work done. Structure is visible, like this table and this studio and the infrastructure to get electricity here and roads, etc. It's visible like contracts and laptops and iPads and phones and glasses, right? Structure is visible, but it's also invisible, and it can be habits and can be traditions. It can be policies and procedures, and the most powerful of all of our invisible structure, in fact, the most powerful of all of our structures, are our mental structures that we've come to call assumptions or mental models. That's what we believe to be true. Once structures are created, we then move on to creating culture. In fact, culture arises out of structure. Culture is a result of structure. Culture makes this kind of culture possible and easy to build, and that kind of culture impossible to build. Culture comes out of structure. Culture is upstream from behaviors. Culture says, do these behaviors. You can be a part of this culture. Don't do these behaviors over here. If you keep doing those, you're out. Culture is the guardrails around our behavior, and it's what points to behavior that we appreciate and like and honor, and behavior that we do not want and that we say, get away from us if you continue to do it. Culture creates behavior. That same behavior then repeated over and over and over, behavior is what creates results. When you get results in a system like I'm describing here, the results then put pressure on you as a leader at the top of that circle to perform better and better and better. That first time that flywheel moves around, the first time the flywheel has a complete circle and you get some results, it puts pressure on you as a leader to be a better leader so that you can create better, more elegant structure, so that better, more healthy culture comes out of it, so that better, more appropriate behaviors happen, so that better results are achieved, so that you can be a better leader. All the way through that. That is what we call the leadership flywheel. And it all starts with you as a leader creating structure that makes sense, structure that identifies the easiest pathway to get what you're after as an organization. You are, back to Newton, okay? Who knew you were going to watch a YouTube video about Isaac Newton? But here it is. You as a leader are the force at the top of that leadership flywheel. You are the outside force that pushes that leadership flywheel forward, that makes it start to spin around and around and around. You are the outside force. If you back off, the leadership flywheel will stop. If you keep pushing, the leadership flywheel will continue, okay? Pushing is the wrong word. How about leading? All right? Okay, you got this idea? You see the length that it all happens here? What's your work supposed to be? Well, let me give you a few pro tips, all right? If you want to get real results, you have to work hard to get that momentum going, and once it's going, keep it going. That's your job as a leader and a leadership team that works with you. Here's some pro tips. Number one, expect it to be hard work to create momentum in the beginning. Expect it, go in with your eyes wide open. It's incredibly hard work. Here's the second pro tip. Apply your force, your energy, your willpower, your discipline to creating structure. And the best place to create structure is to create clear mental models or assumptions about what is true. When you do that, it helps set up all the other structures. The third pro tip, wow, be patient, or at least pretend you're patient, and keep going. Momentum requires overcoming inertia in every case, with every idea, and with every initiative that you undertake. Here's the fourth pro tip. Get ready. When you get results, as you saw with this graph, when you get these results, they're going to put pressure on you to grow a lot as a leader. Don't let yourself be a drag on the leadership flywheel by refusing to be a humble leader, curious about how you can do better and be better. The hardest part about leadership is overcoming your own psychology after you succeed. Watch it. So there you go. We call that the leadership flywheel. Sometimes we call it the results flywheel. Where are you now on that leadership flywheel? Where's your organization? Are you on your first lap? Is it barely starting to move? Or on your 100th lap, your 1,000th lap? It's kind of fun when you look at it this way, when you realize what's actually going on. This is really fun. All right, there we go. Time for you to get back to work and keep working to create momentum. Don't give up. Work on creating structure. The structure will naturally yield the culture. Oh, here's another thought just before we leave. If you're not getting the results that you think you need to get, back up. It's probably because the behaviors that get those results aren't happening. Well, if the behaviors aren't happening, well, back up. It's probably because the culture around people doesn't support and reward the right behaviors. Well, why is that? If the culture doesn't do that, we'll back up. It's because the structure that's been created that is actually in place to make it easy to have the wrong culture, to have the wrong behavior, to get the wrong results. See how it all ties together? Well, if the structure is not good, not right, time to look in the mirror. It's probably you. Okay, back to work. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.